2009 in collective response to an initiative from the South African delegation state. That's the first sentence. Do you want me to say that again? Everybody's clear what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, everybody give us their emails, and then you'll all get an email copy. All right. This is, and the last thing before I continue is to explain, as George has said, this is the version that was agreed by the steering committee of about 25 people on Wednesday night after amendments, and it was then emailed to the Palestinian comrades that we wanted feedback from. I will explain after I read it what their comment was. Okay. All right, now going on to the second paragraph. In view of, now there's a series of points, it's all one long sentence. The first point is Israel's ongoing collective punishment of Palestinians through the illegal siege of Gaza. Now, the Palestinian comment, and this is the only comment they made, was it should say the illegal occupation and siege of Gaza, because Gaza is still occupied, even though we're told it's not. Okay. All right, that's their only amendment. The second point in this paragraph is the illegal occupation of the West Bank and construction of the illegal apartheid wall. An amendment that somebody has mentioned to me is that we should explicitly mention the settlements. So we can say, and the construction of the illegal settlements and apartheid wall.
Right.
Okay.
Especially in
The
East
third
Jerusalem.
point is the new wall under construction by Egypt and the U.S., which will tighten even further the siege of Gaza.
Yes.
The next point is the contempt for Palestinian democracy shown by Israel, the U.S., and EU after the Palestinian elections of 2006.
And Canada.
Okay, and Canada. Are you getting this?
First.
Canada first, because
All right. Okay. Israel comes first. That is their idea. The next point is the war crimes committed by Israel during the invasion of Gaza 1 year ago. The next point, the continuing discrimination and repression faced by Palestinians within the State of Israel, and the continuing exile of millions of Palestinian refugees, all of which oppressive acts are based ultimately on the Zionist ideology which underpins the State of Israel. Okay, we'll have discussion, but this is the current draft. In the knowledge that our own governments have given Israel direct economic, financial, military, and diplomatic support and allowed it to behave with impunity. And the last point in this long list of political points is, and mindful of the United Nations Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous People 2007, we reaffirm our commitment to, and now you have 4 short points of what we are saying we are committed to. Palestinian self-determination, ending the occupation, equal rights for all within historic Palestine, the full right of return for Palestinian refugees. Okay? Now moves on.
Read those again.
Okay, the 4 were Palestinian self-determination came first, ending the occupation second, equal rights for all within historic Palestine, and finally the full right of return for Palestinian refugees. Okay, now it's moving on to what we're going to do. First, we therefore reaffirm our commitment to the United Palestinian Call of July 2005 for boycott, Divestment and Sanctions, brackets BDS, to compel Israel to comply with international law. To that end, we call for and wish to help initiate now I'm going to tell you another amendment, which is one word. The word is global. To help initiate a global, mass, democratic, anti-apartheid movement to work in full consultation with Palestinian civil society to implement the Palestinian call for BDS. And now it moves on to more specific things. Mindful of the many strong similarities between apartheid Israel and the former apartheid regime in South Africa, we propose, and now there are 7 specific proposals. First, an international speaking tour in the first 6 months of 2010 by Palestinian and South African trade unionists and civil society activists to be joined by trade unionists and activists committed to this program within the countries toured to take mass education on BDS directly to the trade union membership and wider public internationally. So you might not remember all the words. The proposal is an international speaking tour with a joint platform for Palestinian and South African trade unionists and civil society activists on BDS. That's the first one. The second one is participation in the Anti-Apartheid Week of Action in March 2010, which is an initiative starting in Toronto, but it has been taken up more widely. Third, a systematic, unified approach to the boycott of Israeli products involving consumers, workers, and their unions in the retail, warehousing, and transportation sectors. In other words, we don't just want to tell people don't buy Israeli vegetables. We want to go to the workers who are involved in selling these vegetables and whatever. We want to go to the people who are running the warehouses where they're stored. We want to go to the people who are transporting them. We want to go to everybody in a unified way and make clear what we're doing here. 4, developing the academic, cultural, and sports boycott. You could say a lot about this, we're just making a simple phrase. 5, campaigns to encourage divestment of trade union and other pension funds from companies directly implicated in the occupation and or the Israeli military industries. 6, legal actions targeting the external recruitment of soldiers to serve in the Israeli military and the prosecution of Israeli government war criminals. Coordination of citizens arrest bureaus to identify, campaign, and amendment, insert the word seek, and seek to prosecute Israeli war criminals. The point here is this: if a government moves to prosecute somebody, that's great. If they don't, we campaign. That's the point. Support for the Goldstone report and the implementation of its recommendations. Almost finished now. 7, campaigns against charitable status of the Jewish National Fund, JNF. And the final sentence is: we appeal to participants on the Gaza Freedom March to sign this statement and work with us to make it a reality. Now, what other Palestinian comrades have said to us is, don't limit it to an appeal to the Gaza Freedom March. We want everybody to sign this. But I want to tell you one final thing. The feedback from Omar Barghouti, who is prominent in the Boycott National Committee, and Haider Eid, who has been a leading figure in the Gaza civil society part of the Gaza Freedom March, was only the amendment that I told you to say the illegal occupation and siege of Gaza, and then the two of them disagreed in only one way. Heidereed said, this document is excellent, and Heidereed said, it's superb.